Consider joining me on Discord. The RC Aviation server is friendly, full of great people, and they would love to chat with you. The link is in the description. See you there.
What's going on, YouTube? So in the tutorial series that we've done the F-22 so far, and we've done 3D flying. Now we're going to show you guys how to do some F-16 demo maneuvers, including loaded rolls, Cobra maneuvers, which this thing shouldn't even do, and flat spins, inverted alpha, all sorts of stuff. We're going to see what we can get packed in today.
Let's start with the basics of aerobatic flight. The Aileron roll is a basic introduction into aerobatic flight. Point the nose up slightly and add roll input after commanding up elevator. Time the movement so the jet comes out of the roll upright. Fast aileron rolls are a little harder and require precise timing to come out upright. Perform the maneuver the same way an aileron roll is performed, but command more roll input and stop the roll after the jet becomes upright.
Going up.
To perform a loop, gain airspeed and hold 75 to 100% throttle while commanding light elevator pressure to avoid stalling the aircraft. Well-performed loops will come out at nearly the same altitude that they were entered from. Barrel rolls are performed by combining a loop and a roll. Command up elevator and roll in your desired direction. Rudder can be used to keep the roll coordinated. Now that we've performed the basics of aerobatic flight, let's get into some intermediate maneuvers. Loaded rolls are tighter barrel rolls with more commanded input and more thrust. With the correct center of gravity, loaded rolls should appear as though the empennage of the aircraft is sliding around the roll. Intermediate maneuvers involve chaining together different techniques. Here we see a roll to invert it with a negative pushover combined with a vertical split S that leads into inverted flight with a double roll to exit. Intermediate flying requires more concentration and a better understanding of aerodynamics. The type of maneuver seen here can easily lead to accelerated stalls, causing unintended rolls which can lead to spins and crashing. Another intermediate maneuver is chaining inverted flight with the gear dropped to perform the Blue Angels inverted dirty pass. Full-scale F-16s do not perform this maneuver, and you can see why here. It's very unstable, but impressive regardless. The point roll is executed by commanding up elevator to put the Viper into a ballistic trajectory, then performing a short roll on each cardinal point of the roll axis, meaning 90, 180, 270, and 360 degrees. It can be tricky to perform, especially if performed slowly. Half-loop point rolls are one of my favorite maneuvers. Begin by performing a loop, but on the downline, while inverted, perform two short rolls, 90 degrees and then 180 degrees, to vertically exit the maneuver.
Let's put her into a minimum radius turn, so we're going to go to the right, apply full throttle.
Minimum radius turns are entered by throttling up to 75% or more, then banking 90 degrees and pulling the elevator. This is almost an advanced technique, as the pilot must be able to feel an accelerated stall forming by observing the model's behavior in the maneuver. Remember that as bank angle increases and elevator pressure is applied to maintain altitude, the amount of airspeed necessary to avoid stalling goes up exponentially. Knife edge in fighter jets is another intermediate level maneuver. Enter with 75% to full throttle, pull up on the elevator, then roll 90 degrees and add rudder slowly until the jet stabilizes and flies on the vertical stabilizer. High speed is necessary, otherwise the vertical stabilizer stalls and the aircraft loses yaw stability. This can easily result in a crash. Advanced maneuvers require total understanding of the airframe, how it flies, how it stalls, and how to recover from stalls. These techniques must be practiced up high before committing to performances at lower altitude, because they can easily result in an unrecoverable stall in a wrecked model. Flat spins are performed by stalling the model with full elevator input and no throttle. Once the model begins falling, add left or right aileron and rudder to begin the spin. Exit by letting go of the sticks and apply throttle to level out.
Gotta give enough time to decelerate.
High alpha is performed by reducing throttle to near idle, then slowly adding elevator input until the jet is 20 to 35 degrees nose up. As the nose rises and the jet slows down from the increased angle of attack, slowly add throttle. 25 to 50% throttle is usually where it will perform best. Course correction can be done with rudder. If the model begins to laterally depart from controlled flight, use rudder in the opposite direction of the yaw to keep it stabilized.
Yeah, it starts to laterally depart to the side.
The jet is riding the edge of a stall the entire time it's in high alpha. The vertical stabilizer will eventually lose authority as airflow separates over the wings, leading the vertical stabilizer to enter deep stall. Once this happens, the model starts to yaw and depart from controlled flight. This can be adjusted in the early stages of the stall by using rudder, but more thrust and reducing the angle of attack will be key to success. Or, in layman's terms, simply let the nose drop and add more thrust.
You find it looking, is it clear? Plenty of light?
Inverted high alpha is one of the more advanced moves this jet is capable of performing. Enter by going inverted, slowly reducing throttle and holding up on the stabilator pressure until the jet stalls. Then, slowly bring throttle back 25 to 50% until the jet is pointed 30 to 45 degrees up. If the tail begins waggling side to side, let off the elevator pressure slightly. Steering is performed with rudder. While the model flies towards you, left rudder turns to the left and right rudder turns to the right. The opposite is true when the model passes by. Recover by slowly adding full throttle and letting the nose drop simultaneously. Then roll upright and continue the flight. Be careful with this move. It can be difficult to pull off, and recovery is not simple. It requires chaining together several stick movements in order to safely return to controlled flight. While these models are very light compared to their full-scale counterpart, you can get similar inertia in loops and other maneuvers by reducing thrust and allowing the stabilators to carry the model through, which will cause it to slide.
I mean, and the way this thing can do things like Cobra maneuvers too, check this out.
Cobra maneuvers require full stabilator throws and a good center of gravity. We fly on 130 millimeters back. To begin, accelerate the jet in level flight, then cut the throttle and pull the elevator stick fully. If performed at the right airspeed, the stabilators will force the wings to 90 degrees alpha instantly and break airflow over the wings. Let off the stick pressure and allow the nose to drop, then simultaneously throttle up to continue flying normally. The Cobra Spin is a variant on the standard Cobra and requires precise timing in addition to more airspeed than would normally be used for a Cobra maneuver. Enter with full throttle, then chop. Quickly pull back on the elevator and command full left or right aileron input. The model will climb and then quickly spin through the air. Recover by adding throttle and allowing the nose to drop. If the model isn't flying fast enough, it will simply execute a Cobra and flop forward. Not very impressive. Staying calm under pressure is a big part of flying, and how to improve yourself as a pilot. At no point during this aborted landing did I feel worried that I'd get hit by this jet, even though it came within 2 feet of me. With practice and repetition, even crazy things like this won't trigger your anxiety response. Being in control of your own emotions while flying can make a huge difference in how steady your hands are and how well you can concentrate. Expose yourself to new and unfamiliar aspects of flying, and your reaction to unforeseen issues will be much less likely to cause you to lose control. On the subject of control, watch out for accelerated stalls while maneuvering. Don't use more elevator input than is necessary to perform the maneuver. If the plane begins to roll while pulling, reduce elevator input. Now, let's put some of these techniques into practice on a demo flight and see what this Viper is really capable of.
That's the kind of takeoff I'm usually looking for.
9 minutes. 23.7 volts.
Yanking and janking it now.
Yeah, well, I'm on a 4,000 pack and there's no wing loading.
23.4 volts.
I don't want to burn this pack. Double load it roll.
It slid into that last one there.
Mm-hmm. That's what light wing loading will help you with, and those stabs not being fixed. Tried to use some rudder to compensate, and it wasn't enough.
Nice.
volts. Flight pack 21 volts. .4 volts.
Going up.
21 volts. Flight packed 11 minutes. 22.2 volts. Flight pack 21.3 volts. Flight pack 21 volts. Gear down. 22.5 volts.
Coming in.
Full flaps.
We hope this helped you out. Let us know what you thought and if there's anything else you'd like to see us cover. See you out there.